Hi, this is Mia. This is part of the intro number 3 for 10/9/17. Today is Monday. It's Columbus Day, and some of my neighbors getting the mail, but I don't think people get their mail every day. So apparently, I'm not going to check. I could. My battery got really drained on my phone. Excuse me, and I don't know. It was like really warm and really drained. I don't know why. So it literally shut itself off a few minutes ago. And I need to go. My kids, my daughter doesn't have any clothes for work and school. She's been wearing, like me, the same old clothes. So I show you this holy clothes. I wanted to do more of an intro of who I am. And I am Mia, and I live in Portland. I grew up in Michigan, and I spent a lot of time on a military base because my dad was stationed there. And we lived across the street from the base on a big lake called Van Etten Lake in a big house. And considering it's a neighborhood, several acres, it wasn't just a big yard. It was a lot of space. So it wasn't like a farm or whatever, but it was inside of a type suburban style, like one row of houses on the lakeside. But it was like a lot of little roads like that in Michigan when you were on US 23. US 23 and 75 go back and forth to Florida. They merge and they go apart and merge and go apart. And I grew up there, and I've spent a lot of time swimming. I spent a lot of time playing in the water, fishing, boating, sailing, a lot of sailing, and a lot of sports. I thought I had a few friends through the years, but it wasn't a lot of friendships. It wasn't a lot of hanging out. My dad didn't let us hang out with friends. We weren't allowed to invite people over. He started working out of town, and my mom had a position at the youth center, and she was a teacher, preschool on the Air Force Base Youth Center, roller rink, and then she was a substitute teacher. So when she was teaching, I believe when she was teaching at preschool, I was really little. I had gone to that preschool on the Air Force Base, and it was next to the daycare center, it was next to the neighborhood, it was next to the shopette, which is like a miniature version of the commissary with all the snacks and stuff. And it also had the bottle return where I had my chocolate addiction. I'd dig through garbage cans to get bottles, 2 cents a piece. And I would get a special dark, one of the king size. I don't think it was called king size, but one of the big candy bars, not the little ones. I don't even know if they had the little ones back then. It was special dark, and I was like so excited about dark chocolate as a little kid that was old enough to cross the street. So that's how I grew up. I grew up that way, and the few friends I thought I had when I went to college, not one person would talk to me. And they're like, we don't like you. We don't like your behavior. We don't like who you are. And then later on, with the Facebook connection, they were like, we don't like you. We don't like you. You always sounded smart. You always used big words. We didn't understand you. And it was really sad because pretty much 100% of people, after not seeing them or trying to talk to them in the 90s still, but then not and losing contact after I came out here, and then fleeing, having no phone numbers and being homeless, and a single parent. After having fled abusive people multiple times in my life, I think it was just tunnel vision to finding the next food pantry so I could feed my kids, and applying for jobs and going to clothes closets to get clothes and use underwear off the ground. So that's who I am, which is different than how I grew up. And I keep complaining about not having friends. I always had the dream that I wanted to be a doctor and an astronaut. I wanted to be in the U.S. Air Force as an officer and become a doctor and be an astronaut. So somehow combine that. I watched the Challenger at the youth center. There was the daycare center, and we were when I was this age, we were big kids in the big kids room, which was weird because they used to spray us with Lysol. And it was disgusting. It was like we would stand there and she would spray you. And it has alcohol. I love that, like, breathing and the alcohol. I think it has alcohol, or at least it did. I swear it does. I swear it did. I don't know if it does now. But we went there and we had Dawn's mom working in the, I don't know if it was baby and infant room, whatever, little kid room. And they had a little TV. You know how they get a little TV and the antenna on top. And she, or those teachers let us watch Challenger. And kaboom, we watched this daggone thing explode. And I don't know how old I was. I mean, I don't know what year it was. I looked up once or so, like, tried to figure out the year. And the time was weird because I swore during that time we should have been in school. I think somebody brought that up from my graduating class, that they had their teacher watch it with them in class. And I think it was the same school. It might not have been the same school because I went to Cedar Lake, then I went to River Road. And there was one more school. There's a lot of military kids. There was another school, and then there was even another school that opened. 4 elementary, only 1 middle school, and 1 high school. And I was terrified to be in the Air Force or to be an astronaut. But I still signed up to do ROTC, and I still wanted to be a doctor. Only thing I knew was doctors needed college, and so I went to the college prep from 8th grade. When you're in 8th grade, and they say, okay, you guys are going to have a half a day where you're going to go to different classrooms depending on what you want to do. And they're like, well, the advisors here say if you want to go to college, you have to take this math class and language. So basically, I went through that so that in 9th grade I could do what I need to do, so when I graduated I could get into college, in which I think I applied to Michigan State University maybe when I was a sophomore, maybe when I was in 11th grade, but it was definitely before 12th grade, and definitely like before, I think, the end of 11th grade. I wanted to get out of town. I didn't have friends, I didn't have romantic interest, and my parents were not nice, and my brother was not nice. And I thought I had friends, I thought I had romantic interests, and I thought, because of the way people treated us, that our family was good. To make a long story short, just because I know everyone will make fun of me for saying that, I've already shared a lot about abuse and being beaten all the time. And when I came out here, I was still trying to be a doctor, and I had been married and with my husband for many, many years. And when I wanted to be a doctor, I said, I have a lot of college to do. I had no clue, like, on paper, what it would cost, what it looked like, how many years. And I was steering away from surgery and medication as my only route, and I wanted to learn herbs, and I wanted to learn other things. And then, why aren't you utilizing counseling? Why aren't we utilizing diet change? And I thought I'd have to go join Peace Corps and try to travel the world and learn about other ways that are not necessarily sophisticatedly state-of-the-art, brand new trial medication for cancer. Like, I'm not against it, but when I decided to become a naturopath, I found out you can have the best of both worlds. You can do all of the medicines, you could do all the referrals, all the lab testing, for me, additional adding to childbirthing, and the herbs, and the counseling, and the diet change, and the wellness, and the chiropractic style manipulations. So I went through all of that school. A lot of the school, I was still considered homeless in a single parent of 2 kids. I went through the struggle with, once in a while I'd get a hold of someone on the phone. Once in a while a complete stranger would invite us to dinner. When we were in shelters, they would have soup kitchen dinners, or they'd post things on the wall like, come to this free dinner, you'll get a pair of socks for you and your kids. And I was working and being homeless, like, in that style of homelessness, you still have to pay your rent. So you're in a temporary shelter, but just because you're in this type of shelter, they make you pay your rent. So it's basically almost pretty much 100% of your income. So you can't buy food, you can't buy gas for your car, you can't buy clothes, and you can't pay your bills because you have heating and electricity. And I couldn't. You can't really pay your phone bill. You can't really pay your. I didn't have cable. I haven't ever paid for cable because I haven't had it. No satellite. I don't even know what's on TV. People were like, "This is on this channel. This is on this channel. Channel 6." I was like, "I have no clue what you're talking about." And I have to leave, but you end up being that person who you're just trying to work your way out of poverty, and you have no support network. You have no parents, and if you do, they're toxic. You have no brother that will talk to you. No, your cousins, your mom's cousins, want nothing to do with you. And you're not asking for money. You're not asking for them to pay your bills. You're asking for someone who's on the other end of a phone who claim that they're spiritual, that can pray for you and be a support network or listen to you. Or finally, I got into med school. Like you think, especially being a person of color, it's not that common to see black doctors, and you get people. The more and more I talk about this, the more isolated. So even right today, the more I talk about it, even on YouTube, it's more isolating for me. I went through school. I had a lot of problems, which you can see on my old videos, with the business startup. And my plan A, B, C, and D all went into the toilet. So I'm basically skipped ahead to Z. And if Z doesn't work, then it will be like flushed. And my Z is basically hope, and I have no control over that hope, over the outcome, because I've put in the footwork and I'm exhausted. So I'm a really tired parent. I spent all of last winter, usually I'm at school every day, clinic, hospitals, births, they don't take holidays off. And when you're doing naturopathic style or midwifery style like that, you don't have a day off. You don't say, well, you're going your family back east on Thanksgiving, I'll cover your shifts at the hospital, and I'm taking Christmas, and a bunch of people will cover my shift. Like, you don't have that. You're in town, in your house, every day, waiting for the phone and rushing out of the house and working and hoping they don't call you while you're at work because you leave work. It's not excused. You won't get paid, which means you won't pay your rent. But that job, the jobs are close to minimum wage. So you think being a doctor and delivering babies and being even a doula would pay a decent wage. And you don't, as a single parent working part-time for minimum wage doesn't pay your rent. If you work full-time with minimum wage, it doesn't pay your rent. If you get a job more than minimum wage, you can pay your rent. But if you're at $500,000 in debt because you went to med school, you can't pay it on minimum wage working 8 or working 10 to 20 hours or 10 to 16 hours a week, which is what my job is now. My medical job, it's hit or miss whether I make even a penny. I can go months without making a dime. It's been getting a little bit better because I have to hustle, and I've exhausted all of my savings accounts. There's one account from a business that I was supposed to start with making natural products, and I just haven't been able to focus on it. It's like something that would be good if you had a partner and you were home working part-time and you could do that in supplementation of your housework and your other jobs. But I don't have a support network or a partner, and that job ends up being nobody's interested in my products unless they're patients. I have very few patients. I don't advertise. I can't advertise. The first year I didn't have business cards, and I was asked to speak impromptu somewhere, and I had no business cards. I couldn't. They asked me. I had to write. I had to take other people's from their tables scrap paper or napkins, and it was very unprofessional. Like, I didn't even have those ones where you print them up yourself, and it was really, really sad. It was really, really sad, and we couldn't afford printer ink, so I wasn't even trying to. It was just like only the necessities were being printed. Like, now I try to say that really set you back because it just dug a deeper hole. So now, because I didn't make money the first year and a half, I didn't make a dime. I became a vendor in the grocery store giving food samples. And I'm a doctor. I run a primary care clinic. I'm trained. I'm licensed. I have a DEA. And I can not only just order blood draws, I can pull it. I have a lab. I can do PAPs. I can prescribe most medications. Like, I mean, there's like schedule more, there's stuff that like most people aren't supposed to unless you're doing like some crazy research and you have like this lab thing where you're doing experiments. I gotta change my purse out. But yeah, you end up or not you, but I ended up today, right before my 41st birthday, I sit here and I make these videos and I'm telling you guys, I gotta go get my kid. I gotta basically go to the bathroom. But I might go to the thrift store. I'm not allowed to go shopping anymore because I have no cash. I have no money. And the only time I bought myself underwear last time I went to the thrift store. And now I'm cleaning out my savings account to pay for it. Used Under Armour, which you've heard me say again and again and again. And I probably could have gotten them cheaper at the store, brand new, but I think one was new tags. I think it was one of my favorite brands. And I accidentally bought a nursing bra. By the time I got it home and went to put it in the wash and take the tag off, I was like, oh. So I'm going to put this. I lost my wallet. I had a different wallet and I sold it on eBay. This is my wallet right now. And that's how I have to live. Like, it just gets so hard. It's like every time I go to my meetings or I call people and I say I'm really having a hard time, nobody cares. It's like I'm carrying around this little angel now. I had to put it in my bag on Friday because I couldn't. It's so hard to put yourself in medical school while you're living in a homeless shelter. And you're raising your kids. And you're struggling. And your kids are wearing rags. And you're wearing used underwear. And you're trying to go to the food bank or to the clothing closet. And they think you're lying. They look at you funny if you use WIC or food stamps because you got some free clothes that somebody gave you or a free purse that somebody gave you. I put $2 worth of quarters in here because I didn't have any lunch. I didn't really eat yesterday. I drank water. I bought a water and some chocolate. So here's my Goodwill sticker. That's why I don't want to wear this. I didn't have the money to buy this purse. I really felt guilty. Yes, it was a retail therapy, I'm not going to lie. So as the years go on, I get older and older. I become more and more alone, more and more feeling like discarded. And there's a guy that walks up and down the street, and I tell my daughter that I'm late. And I've seen him since I was living in the domestic violence shelter. And he looks like he's homeless. You never know, because I've known people that panhandle and scour for bottles, and they have an apartment, a subsidized apartment, TV, cable, a cat, but they run out of money at the end of the month, so on disability. And I used to hang out with people, take people like that to church. So that's the type of person I am. Just to imagine me walking in with one of these used purses, it's basically someone else's garbage that I'm putting freaking packing peanuts in to keep it nice. And I'm wearing these old clothes and these used clothes, and people will look at me. I have this really old phone I got for free, like I'm lying, like I look like I'm rich or something. Like this necklace I made today, I finished it during one of my videos, and people will think that I don't need help or that I'm lying and that I can't be trusted. But I'm telling you guys, oh God, I don't think I can. It's like I think the bag is like destroyed. I'm telling you guys this because I'm like reaching out for help, and the people locally I haven't received. I was told I didn't qualify. I don't think I can put this in here. I was told I didn't qualify when I lost my job. I had zero income. I was a single parent, no child support for Christmas gifts for my kids or food boxes. Every number I called said you don't qualify. And part of it was because my kids were in one school district and our address was in another. The school counselor, I begged. I said, I have nothing. I have no food. I had no food stamps. I had no gifts. And they said, too bad. And I talked to the teacher, and she went and said something, and they were like, oh, we'll help you, whatever you want. But it took her to do it, and I missed the holidays. I spent all day, 1 or 2 days on the phone, and it wasn't about me. It was about the children. It was about people that didn't choose to be born. And I was married for 10 years. So I stand in the store after being in a car accident and hardly being able to walk. I see other people limping, and I said, okay, she can do it, I can do it. He can do it, I can do it. I see people that can't hear, can't walk, can't lift, and I say, okay, there's a reason we're here, and just keep thinking positive thoughts. And it's really hard to be a doctor and know that your brain wants to treat people and review lab results and look at CT scans and order x-rays for kids who fall off the play structure, and you're not doing it because you're working in the grocery store. And I say, well, things happen for a reason, and God is in charge, and you feel like like I said, I have one account I didn't finish saying it, for my one business. That's the only money I have, and I need a minimum balance to keep from having $15 from each account drawn each month. And that's going to be, if need be, the next step in closing down that's the last account that has money in it. And I've been cleaning out every single account since I lost that job and since I graduated. And I was supposed to be buying a house and all this stuff because rent I think we times more than if you own a house of the same size. So who am I today? I'm a lonely single mom who was raised in a wealthy family and taught to dress nice. I'm wearing this shirt somebody gave my daughter when she was in 4th grade. I think it looks nice. It fell apart. I sewed it up. I'm going to text my daughter and tell her I'm late. But that's who I am today. And I'm really tired. And I have to work every day, 7 days a week. 2 to 3 jobs. Nobody hired me as a doula. Yet, but I had people wanted to hire me and they totally bailed and didn't pay me. So I said, why should I avoid my minimum wage job when at least I know they pay me? Even when they cut my hours, which you don't expect. When I do have hours, they pay me. So who I am today, as I'm sharing with you, I think that I don't have friends because my life freaking sucks. But in perspective, it could be worse. So that's where I am today. Bye.